Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Chat, which is our new Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. thing. I heard from a few of you that you were gonna set an alarm, so I'm sorry if 7 is too early. I thought it'd be a really great time because people tend to, despite my best advice, get up in the morning and get on their phone immediately. So I thought it would be a nice time as you enjoyed your coffee to talk to you. And today's topic, we're talking about words having power, especially as it pertains to autoimmune disease or chronic illness or something that you're living with for a long time. So I have to ask you, how do you feel? Do you feel like you're temporarily living with an autoimmune condition, or have you become that condition? Have you started to own whatever that chronic pain or illness or official diagnosis is? And it's something that I see a lot. I see people identifying self, right? Identifying their beyond their human suit with whatever condition, be it autoimmune or something like high blood pressure or diabetes or anything like that. So the way to know if this is you is if you're saying things like I am a diabetic, right? So anything you put in front of I am, or I have, you're owning, I have psoriasis or Crohn's or rheumatoid or fibro or whatever it may be, right? So when you claim it, you actually become your diagnosis. And I see that natural progression happen all the time with long-term chronic immune sufferers. And what happens is the more that you speak it, the more that you own it. Hi, Terry. The more that you call it into existence, the more you manifest it to continue. And so today we're going to change that. We're going to work on some simple mindset shifts. If you're living with an autoimmune disease or any other chronic condition. Chronic condition means it's something that comes and it stays with you for weeks or months or years or longer, right? So let me take a sip of coffee because it's also early for me. Terry, I hope you're hanging in there. So if this is your first time seeing me, I'm Audrey Christie. I'm a functional and integrative nurse nutritionist and energy medicine practitioner. I help women stop chasing symptoms and ultimately find relief and long-term remission from autoimmune disease. So I help people learn how to heal their own bodies from autoimmune disease and chronic illnesses. I have a master's degree in nursing. I'm currently a PhD student for clinical nutrition. And I have a lot of ancillary certifications in nutrition as well. So somebody walks up to you and asks you in casual conversation, why you didn't do anything. And I always use why did you walk your 5K instead of run, right? And your answer might be something like, well, I have rheumatoid, or I am in a flare right now. Or someone happens to wonder out loud about checking your blood sugar and your response is, I am diabetic. So when you claim that diagnosis, and I know a lot of times we don't know how to phrase things. Sorry, I'm working from my phone this morning because Facebook updated and Chrome doesn't work with it. So a lot of times when we start to claim a diagnosis as our own, we start to incorporate it into our being, really, right? And so guess what you get? You get more deeply integrated with that diagnosis. You expect it to stay. It becomes part of your body and your cells and really at a soul level, okay? So another one I hear a lot is I am sick or I am chronically ill. Or, this is a good one because often there's a positive sort of intention or thought process behind it. I hear I am an autoimmune warrior, or I am a psoriasis warrior, or a fibro warrior. And those terms are often meant to be really, really empowering for those that have or are living with or are part of an autoimmune condition. But when you speak it, it's like pouring cement over it energetically, right? Our words have power. Now, if you've been hanging around me long, you know that I'm a big believer in energy work and principles that are fleshed out by science, but also ones that aren't yet, because every idea that is backed by hard scientific evidence once was just a theory, right? And so a lot of times I'll take evidence and pair evidence together and say it's likely that they will have scientific proof for that. Well, no worries. Words having power is not something that you need additional scientific proof for because we already have proven that words have an epic amount of power, right? Science backs this up. Spoken language shapes our beliefs, it drives our behavior, and ultimately it creates our perception. And however you perceive things, everyone perceives things a little bit differently, however you perceive things is ultimately what creates your world, right? If you can't perceive it in a certain way, then it doesn't, then that's not your perception. It's not your world. So science really supports that words have power because words are attached to emotional responses. They create emotional responses when we read them, when we speak them, when we hear them, when we think them, right? And we know already, science shows us that emotional response causes direct and instant physical changes in our hormones, in our immune system, in our gut. And if you're kind of like, you're on the fence about that, or you're having trouble wrapping your head around what that might mean or why that might be, think of the word fire, right? So if you say fire and, at a backyard barbecue or a backyard party, it elicits one response, right? In a staff meeting, the word fire is going to elicit a totally different response. And in a crowded school, you would get another very different response, all very, very powerful, all emotionally charged and all energetically charged in their own way, right? Just a tangible example of how words have power. And so if you think of the emotional and then physical reaction that happens with the word fire, right? So take backyard party out of it, or at least for me, I don't get super excited when somebody's like, grill's lit, right? But if you think of like a school or a staff meeting, then the emotional charge might be a heart race, right? And then maybe your gut gets a little trembly. That is a physical response to those words. Now, and the word fire is a big physical response, right? So I am an autoimmune warrior may not be the same big wave of response, but repeated over and over and over again, claiming that, owning that, wearing it on your t-shirt, right? Those are ways that we're really starting to become that diagnosis, that warrior, if you will. What I want you to do is shift that mindset so that you're not a warrior, you're a conqueror, right? So before we get into the steps of starting to release the energy of the claims we have made against ourselves, I want to do a quick shout out. I absolutely love getting feedback and reviews and all of those things. So today I want to highlight someone named Margie. And she said, I'm not sure if it was the emotional clearing or what you did today, but I showered, I blew dry my hair, I put on makeup. She says, I only usually do this for church. I put on a cute outfit and a bra. And if y'all know, like sequestering outfits or quarantine clothes, right? No bra is critical. She also said she put on earrings. She went to the grocery store, made her family a fabulous dinner, got all the laundry done. It was a fabulous day and she can't wait to get more fabulous days. And so I just want to say thank you to Margie, and I love that, and thank you for sharing. And if you're wondering what she had, what was the aftermath of that, it was part of an emotional clearing session that we did as part of her autoimmune disease work. Hi, Jen. Okay, so we've established that words have power. And so I want you to make up in your mind right now, this very minute, that you are capable of healing, your body is capable of healing, and you are capable of becoming clear, right? Of finding long-term relief and ultimately remission and healing from your autoimmune disease, your chronic illness, your high blood pressure, your type 2 diabetes, all of those, are you ready for this? Because this is not going to be popular. All of those are 100% reversible, 100% reversible diseases, okay? So here's a quick exercise, and I want you to do this in the privacy of your own home, right? And then when you do it a few times, then the next time all you'll have to do is just the touch part, right? So a real quick reset for you. You can speak it out loud, touch your throat with a couple of fingers, and say, I am free. Good morning, Susan. Suzanne. I bet it's Suzanne. I'm working off my phone, so tiny little print. So I want you to put a couple of fingers over your throat and speak it out loud. Say, I am free, I am clear, I am healthy, I am vibrant, right? And you say that a couple of times. I like to have people say it out loud and then whisper it and then say it silently in your head. I am free, I am clear, I am healthy, I am vibrant. Maybe you're someone who likes to write or journal. It's a great thing to start your journal with in the morning. I am free, I am clear, I am healthy, I am vibrant. So that's one of the quickest shifts you can do. And once you start shifting, once you do this a few times, then when you start to feel that feeling of, Or maybe you accidentally just said, I am a whatever, and you put some sort of negative thing after it, even if it's supposed to be positive, like I am an autoimmune warrior, right? Then you can just touch your throat and you will recall the phrases, I am clear, I am healthy, I am vibrant. Sometimes touching the throat isn't possible, so you can also do that with my 5-finger meditation. I'm clear, I'm free, I'm clear, I'm healthy, I am vibrant. And then as you're driving, you can just tap those fingers. So it's thumb to first finger, thumb to middle finger, thumb to ring finger, thumb to pinky finger. I'm free, I'm clear, I'm healthy, I am vibrant. And that's one of the quickest, most easiest shifts that I can give you. You can do it anywhere, and it can change. The power of those words are equally as powerful or more powerful than whatever you have been speaking to yourself, right? So making that quick shift, you can do that anywhere to change your mind quickly, right? Now, a couple ground rules going forward. And these aren't like hard and fast rules. They're just things for you to know. Quick coffee sip. Good morning, Tara. Hope y'all made it through the storms last night. I'm guessing you did because you're here this morning, but I mean like your property, your camper, all of those things, your new home build. Okay, so ground rules. Step 1, start noticing what words you're using right now. Okay, you won't get it right every time. In fact, for a while, you won't get it right most of the time. But an awareness is at least 2/3 of the battle. Good morning, Stacy. So you want to start catching yourself when you start going down that path of negativity, and don't catch yourself in a damning way. So you're like, oh, I did it again. Gosh, I suck. Because then you're just perpetuating that negativity, right? That's stuff that then becomes part of your cellular coding. So you just want to start noticing, gently noticing what words you're using in conversation, and just make a mental note. Again, that awareness is at least 2/3 of the battle, right? The second ground rule, no name calling, no self-criticism, and no self-depreciation, right? So you have to understand that you can offer yourself the same grace that you would offer anyone else, right? You're doing the very best you can in any given moment with the consciousness that you have to work with, just like anyone else, right? There's a saying, and I always try to frame stuff when I start to feel myself getting mad at somebody else or even myself, right? Is that if you were them, right? Somebody does something to you. If you were them and you had lived their life and had all of the experiences that they've had, then in that moment, you would have made the exact same decision. And that doesn't make that decision right. It just offers you the space to have some, and I don't mean to rhyme, but the space to have some grace around it, right? So remember that you are doing the best that you can in any given moment with the consciousness that you have to work with. And all you can do is learn from and get better from there. And then the very last thing, the third ground rule, stop the energy of gossip, right? I cannot tell you. And I live near Dallas, but I actually live in a small community on the outskirts of Dallas, right? And so gossip, y'all, it's bad. And I have a very low tolerance for it, right? So stop the energy of gossip. Resist the urge to contribute to gossip. And I have a classic blog post that I wrote years ago, and I'll link it here. And it's just a few quick steps on exactly how to stop the energy of gossip without that gossip turning towards you, right? Because that's our fear, right? If we don't participate, then we then become the focus of the gossip next time, right? So it's ways that you can shut down gossip if you're in situations or around people frequently where gossip prevails. And so there's lots of different things you can do. Also, and I'll link this to, Brene Brown has a fabulous podcast on how she stopped gossiping because she was like, I am a gossiper, all of these things. So, and I keep saying these I am statements as I'm talking about it, and I'm like, cancel in my head. So the lesson here today, friends, is that if you're identifying and aligning yourself with the words of your autoimmune disease or your chronic illness or your chronic diagnosis, really any negativity, so this goes for people who don't suffer from any routine medical issues, right? Then you now know why it's so very important not to do that anymore. And I've given you one quick way, the throat touch, right? Or the fingers, to shift out of that when you notice it happening. And then I also give you 3 quick ground rules, right? So we're noticing the words that we're using. We're not calling ourselves names, no self-criticism, no self-depreciation. And then we're also stopping the energy of gossip. right? So that you can get out of negativity, even if it's wrapped in a pretty bow, right? While being gentle with yourself, having grace with yourself, and having grace for those around you. All right. So here's the thing. If you've made it this far, right, you likely understand that this is a common problem, right? The self-talk is a really common problem. I created a quick resource for you. You can grab it at audreychristie.com/autoimmune. It's very specific, very simple steps that you can start taking right now, totally free, that include changing your mindset to help shift your autoimmune disease in the right direction. So if you guys have any questions, let me see if I can flop through these comments. I hate doing this on my phone. It makes it so very difficult. Awesome. So if you guys don't have any questions, then I'll pop off here and finish my coffee. Hopefully we're done with the storms this morning. But simple, sustainable way to shift the energy in your human suit, just touching your throat. I am free, I am clear, I am vibrant, I am healthy. Shift those I am statements. Remember that anything you put behind I am, you're calling into existence, okay? And then I'll come back as soon as I get this on the computer version, and I'll add the link to the Energy of Gossip. It's like a blog post like this long about, just quick steps that you can get out of the energy of gossip. And then I'll leave you with this question. You too, Terry, you have a great day. I want you to think about where can you honor the words that you have, or the power that your words have to create your reality. Be well. Bye, friends.